Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to everyone. Education is a right for everyone. Yet, in many parts of Southeast Asia, including our Brunei Darussalam, learners with disabilities still face barriers in accessing equal opportunities.
This study explores how young people in Brunei are changing that narrative through initiatives such as the SDG Youth Camp, BIBD Yes Summit, Smarter Brunei volunteer work, and SEN programs. Their actions reflect both the teachings of Islam and the vision of Wawasan Brunei 2035, which aims to nurture an educated, caring, and inclusive generation. They are putting into action the principles of mercy, justice, and brotherhood. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim." This means everyone, regardless of ability, deserves the chance to learn and grow. Therefore, this study looks at how youth-led programs are not only building leadership skills, but also nurturing compassion, showing that inclusion is both a social responsibility and act of faith.
Even with progress in inclusive education, some youth in Brunei still feel unsure or uncomfortable interacting with peers who have disabilities. This isn't due to hatred, but often due to lack of understanding or experience. The Quran reminds us to stand firm for justice and to treat one another with mercy. The challenge, therefore, is how to help youth transform these values into real action, to see inclusion as part of their iman, not just a civic duty.
This study aims to shine a light on youth-led initiatives in Brunei that are promoting inclusive education guided by the timeless values of Islam, where faith becomes a source of compassion, equality, and unity. It seeks to understand how young people live out of the spirit of ihsan, doing good sincerely for the sake of Allah, and how this spiritual value shapes their journey of inclusion and services to others. Ultimately, it hopes to recommend meaningful ways to strengthen youth engagement through Islamic-based education and community work, empowering young people to lead with faith, kindness, and purpose in building a more inclusive society.
This research adopted a mixed method approach that integrates both quantitative and qualitative techniques to provide a well-rounded understanding of the topic. Survey. An online survey was distributed to youth participants across Brunei, gathering 34 valid responses. The questionnaire included demographic questions such as age, gender, and occupation, and key topics such as familiarity with inclusive education, perceptions of education inequality, and the role of youth in promoting inclusivity. It also asked participants to share their personal insights and challenges and solutions for inclusive education. The responses revealed that most participants were aged 19 to 22 years old, with the majority being students from universities or colleges. Many were familiar with inclusive education and agreed that youth-led initiatives can help make education more inclusive in Brunei. Common challenges identified included social stigma, lack of awareness, limited facilities, and the need for trained teachers. However, respondents also expressed optimism that volunteerism, workshops, and awareness campaigns could inspire more youth to engage in inclusion efforts. To gain deeper qualitative insights, 4 semi-structured interviews were conducted with individuals who had experience in youth and inclusion programs such as SDG Youth Camp, BIBD Yes Smarter Brunei, and other NGO initiatives. Interview questions focus on participants' involvement, inspiration, lessons learned, challenges, and suggestions for improving youth engagement. The findings revealed that many youth are motivated by the joy of helping others and creating social change aligning with the Islamic principle of rahmah, means compassion. They also viewed their contribution as part of a collective duty, means fardu kifayah, to serve the community and reduce inequality. Challenges such as public acceptance, communication barriers, and lack of exposure were noted, showing a need for more awareness and Islamic education that fosters understanding and empathy. One of these interviews was recorded in video format to capture not only verbal responses but also expressions and tone, enhancing the authenticity and depth of the data. The combination of survey data and recorded interviews provides both statistical and narrative perspectives, enabling a more comprehensive analysis of how Islamic values inspire Brunei youth to advocate for inclusive and equal education.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Ama Afika. Relating with this research, I was part of the public relation unit in Shalosok, where we went to the Smarter Center and then we play with the children there, which is they are mainly the autism kids. So in this, we learn how to engage with the children, how we handle the children, and then we also teach them basic knowledge like how to count, the alphabets, and we do some coloring with them, which is what they are interested in, which is they are kids, right? So they're interested in that kind of education knowledge. And they are actually good at it. It's quite a misconception that autism kids, they are not learning, but actually they do. It is one of the way we can include the persons with disabilities, especially the kids, so that they can feel included in the society as well. How they access the education, give them room for them to engage with the students as well, not just separate them from the rest of the kids, but we have to include them in the education system so they feel included and they are more excited to learn. But at the same time, we cannot pressure them lah. We have to equate their pace as well and their ability, since they have different level of understanding and how they can learn things. So we have to be able to adapt with how the kids learn. Mostly it is misconception because some people think like, oh, you have to be able to have a certain knowledge or a certain skill for you to handle them. Tapi actually, they are human beings as well. So it's not about mesti ada certain skill. Tapi it's about you have to be open heart. So with that, the challenge is just you have to learn about them, and then at the same time you apply that knowledge slowly. It's not you have to understand fully ataupun be skilled 100%. Small steps until you are able to engage with them properly lah. You just not do it one day, but you want to follow up lagi for 1 month ataupun 2 months program. So with that, the initiative doesn't just stop there. It continues until it develops to become bigger and then bigger impact. How this initiative leads to the impact of Wawasan 2035 and also SDG 4 and 10 is that it can give them the inclusivity and also the chance for them to learn. So learning is part of education as well. So education, it's not about just yang systematic education, but also understanding, coloring, that is part of education as well. So with this, we can give them chances untuk learn as well. Nowadays, there's not a lot of disabilities children who went until university level, right? So with this initiative, slowly we can encourage them to go until the upper level, higher level until university, so we can see more of this kind of people. The Islamic teachings that inspire myself is number one is the feeling of compassionate. So with this feeling deeply rooted in our intention, it can refresh our intention so that we help and then we want to make it sustainable as well. So not just stop there. We want to help more and more with this feeling of compassionate, and as well as the feeling of helping others. So with this kind of Islamic values, we can, inside of ourselves and me, it can help me to keep on going with this and not just stop. So as a Muslim, we want to uphold the value of ukhuwah, which is brotherhood, in which we can, in this way, we can also balance between justice, which is the adil, by the way of reducing the inequalities, which is we are trying to reduce the gap or the margin between the disabilities, the children with disability, in which they can also learn. They can also have the platform for them to learn. So in this way, it is rewarding to ourselves as well, in which we can have the pleasure of Allah, mardatillah.
Findings and discussion. First, youth empowerment, leading with purpose. From both the survey and interviews, most participants agreed that youth leadership must start with amanah, which is a trust from Allah to do good. Through programs like the SDG Youth Camp, many youth realized that leadership is not about position or fame, but about serving others sincerely. This reflects the Islamic teaching that the best of people are those who bring the most benefit to others. Second, empathy and inclusion, seeing with the heart. Volunteering with organizations like Smarter Brunei opened many eyes and hearts. Youth who once felt unsure began to perform genuine friendships with children with disabilities. They practice rahmah, which is compassion, and sabar, which is patience. Realizing that inclusion is not about charity, it's about equality and love. This transformation shows how faith can change perception from sympathy to sincere understanding.
As for the challenges, changing mindset takes time. However, some challenges remain. The survey found that a portion of youth still feel uncertain or lack confidence when engaging with people with disabilities.
Lastly, broader impact, faith in action. Many respondents and interviewees shared that their experience motivated them to continue serving. After joining projects like BIBDES Summit or SEN programs, some went on to create their own community initiatives such as mentoring peers, organizing workshops, or raising awareness online. Their actions show that inclusion can also be an act of ibadah.
Interviewees also mentioned that public awareness and acceptance are still limited. Islam teaches that jahiliyah, ignorance, must be replaced with ilm, which is knowledge. Therefore, inclusion should be emphasized not only in schools, but also in mosques, family, and community gatherings as part of tarbiyah or moral education.
In the end, Bruneian youth are more than just change makers. They are khalifas, they are caretakers of our ummah, guided by faith, compassion, and the desire to serve for the sake of Allah. Through their actions, they bring life, the message of the Quran, to uplift those around us, to show mercy, and to seek knowledge that brings benefit to all. Yes, challenges still remaining: stigma, misunderstanding, and barriers in education, but the light of these faith-driven youth initiatives shines brighter with every effort made. When education meets iman and leadership is rooted with rahmah, we see a generation rising. A generation building a future that is inclusive, compassionate, and true to Islam's spirit of unity. May their journey continue to inspire hope, and may Allah bless every step taken in the path of ihsan.